Welcome back to the channel. We're playing 20 questions with.
Hi, I'm Steph. I'm G's MGC Jesus. Yeah, I do stationery crafts. I do some games on Twitch, and I post some content on Instagram on occasion.
All right, let's get into the questions. When I say fountain pen, what pen do you think of?
Oh wow, what pen? So my first fountain pen that I was gifted was it's a lady's pen from the 60s, and I really love it. It's a beautiful, oh gosh, it's here. Maybe not. I just dropped. It's
Is it
fine.
a Parker or a
It's
Waterman?
not a Parker. It's a Waterman. It's a lady's pen.
Ooh,
It's a beautiful.
vintage Waterman is always lovely.
Yes, vintage Waterman are the best.
Yeah. How did you get into fountain pens?
So I've always been into stationery, and growing up, I always had like boxes of pens. My mom would always yell at me, and I discovered when my grandfather passed, I got it from him. But when I was a kid, I went to like a butterfly garden, and I had like a peacock feather, and I remember using that as a dip pen. And then I had like a Schaefer calligraphy set. But about 15, 17 years ago, at my job, met a gentleman who I was working with, and he was really into fountain pens. So I asked him a couple questions, and he brought in the lady's Waterman and gave it to me, gifted it to me. So from there, I started doing more research. I wanted to learn more about how to maintain that pen, but I don't always have to go back to him for questions. So that's where the Google searches started.
That's fair. Oh, your first pen, which is question number 3, was a lady's Waterman. What's your current daily driver?
Oh, I have a number of pens that I kind of rotate through. Currently, um, I have a handful that I've been using, but today I was referencing and showing off the Esterbrook. It's an SD, it's an oversized.
Okay.
It's one of the limited edition ones that has like the blue diamond casting. It's such a beautiful pen.
Diamond cast Estes are just stunning.
They're so beautiful. And I actually won this from Pen Addict's blog.
Oh.
And it was the gold trim. And I had Annabelle recently work on it, Strings and Pendles. She did a architect burn with it. So I've been enjoying that pen a lot.
Annabelle is fabulous. We love Annabelle over here.
I love her.
She was one of the first people to do 20 questions.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
What is your current favorite ink?
Current favorite ink is Robinson Crusoe from Wearing Gold.
Okay.
It's this beautiful blue with like this lime green undertint. It's beautiful.
Favorite brand of either pens or ink?
Pilot pens. I've never had an issue with any Pilot pen. They always write right away.
Yeah. As Annabelle has said, we shill Pilot over here.
Oh, I love Pilot. I love Pilot.
Yeah. Most of us seem to.
Right? I mean, they're just tried and true. I mean, no matter how many pens I've had, like my Metro is like one of my most used pens.
Yeah. And like from a very reasonable price, like a Metropolitan, to something incredibly fancy, they'll write really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're always
Vintage or modern?
vintage still intimidates me, so I lean more towards modern.
For the amount of vintage I own, vintage shouldn't intimidate me, but same. Do you swatch all your inks?
I try to. I fell off for a little while, but I'm getting back into it. So, trying to reorganize my color decks. And then that's where I struggle is like sometimes with like the color. I like to have them in rainbow order, and like
Same.
where they fall in that rainbow gets very dicey.
Yeah, I several years ago started to use Tombow Markers has a color category sheet that they use for their markers. And I have a printed out version in my studio, and that is how my watercolor palette gets organized. That's how like everything has to fit into a compartment of that like 108 colors sheet, because it means that everything's just in order. And it makes it so easy because you can just hold a swatch card up to the sheet and go, where do you like sort of fit best?
I do that with my stickers too, like my most used. Like I have a book that I go to and like have it kind of color organized, just because it does. It makes life so much easier when I'm like trying to fill a spot in my journal. Um, and then like I can just flip to that color of the page,
Oh,
or if I need pink or whatever. It makes it easy.
that would make it a lot easier. Are there any pens that you daily drive the same ink and pen combination?
Um, I've gotten away from it, but my Pelican, I have a blue Pelican M205. I used to only put like KWZ Hawaii blue in there. But I'm trying to venture out and use more of my inks. So I'm trying not to assign like a one color per pen. But the one that I would say that more than likely 98% of the time, the one time right now it's not, but this pen usually has Diamine Hope Pink in it
Okay.
because it's just like a perfect match.
I feel like if a pen is a perfect match for an ink, like it just has to stay with that ink.
Yeah, they just kind of go.
Yeah. Do you keep your nib writing samples so you know how every pen writes, or do you just know the nib in every pen?
No, I pretty much know my nibs.
All right.
Great.
What's a
That's
pen
what I
you
do.
What's a pen you wish you could see in person?
I wish I could see in person. Ooh, I don't know that I have one. I mean, I think I've seen a lot of like I've been lucky enough to be able to go to several pen shows that I've been able to see several, like a lot of like some really nice Grail pens. Now being able to own them is a different story, but I've been lucky to be able to see a lot of the really nice pens.
So the next question, what's your current grail?
Oh, my Grail, I have a Pilot MYU,
Okay.
um, and the Mew in silver, and my Grail would be the black stripe one. I love that one. And then my second Grail would be, and the only Mont Blanc that I really want would be a Bohème. They're just so cute.
I love the poem. Like
Just thinking about a pocket pen. Like I have a
I
tiny hand, and they fit so nicely.
I know. I tried one this year. Claire Coco has one. I tried one at the Chicago Pen Show.
Claire's in my pen group.
I think the very first pen Claire ever handed me was a Mont Blanc Bohème, which really like explains Claire.
Yeah, Claire. Love
Claire is a
Claire.
person who just meets you at a pen show, sits down with you at a table, and hands you a Mont Blanc and goes, "Do you want to try it?"
My bracelet's from Claire. I love her.
What's pen you'd recommend to a beginner?
Pen that I recommend to a beginner, Eco. Twisby is a winner every time.
What's an ink you'd recommend to a beginner?
Ooh, an ink for a beginner. The Roshizuku Pilot,
Yeah,
tried and true.
yeah.
And I'm a blue girl, so probably like, or well, for like a fun color, I'd say like Yamabudo. Um, but you know, they have such great colors.
I do. What advice do you have for someone wanting to try out fountain pens who might be a bit intimidated by them?
It's just a pen. Just gotta use it. I mean, like you can have it forever. Start with a $3 pen. That's what preppies are for. They're fun to play with. Get a shark. You can't go wrong with a shark. They're so much fun. They're cute.
I don't own a shark yet.
Oh, have to correct that.
I know. I
They're
keep,
fun.
yeah, every time I do one of these, my shopping list gets longer.
Oh, it's dangerous. Yeah, the pen
Yeah,
world is a dangerous world.
yeah. What filling mechanism do you think is most interesting, regardless of if you like to use it or not?
The crescent filler, because it's like a nod to like the old system, but in a nicer way. But also, yeah, that's not a fun cleaning system.
I love my crescent filler. It's so cool. They Conklin sent me the demonstrator version that's clear so you can see everything.
Oh, nice.
I hate cleaning that pen. I need to commit to
Especially clear. You have to get everything out.
I need to commit to a single ink in that pen. What nib size do you prefer to write with?
I don't discriminate. I like them all.
All right.
I have different moods. I need a different nib for different things.
That's fair. I think I've got everything from extra fine to a Fude nib inked up currently.
Nice,
So
nice.
I've
I got a spear point recently from Kirk that I'm really
ooh.
enjoying because it's like so juicy on the back end. But I'd say the one that I don't have, like I don't have a needle point yet, so maybe that I have to add that to my collection.
I think you can buy needle points for an Esterbrook. So
Mm.
when they're in stock, they're very rarely in stock, but
True.
theoretically, you can buy a needle point for an Esterbrook, pre-ground by Esterbrook.
True. But nib register friends are fun too.
That is true. Is there a style of nib you love or find interesting but would never actually use?
Mm. Like I just said, I've got a needle point, but there's no scratching. So I don't know. I probably like find a use for it, but probably wouldn't like totally need something that tiny.
I think reverse needle points are cooler. Where you can get I think Kirk does them, an architect on one side, a needle point on the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
I'd
'cause
use
then it's
that
more
more than
functional.
I think I'd use that more than a normal needle point because then I'd have the really fine if I needed it, but I'd have the fun architect also.
I love an architect.
Yeah. Do you always use the same paper? If so, what paper? If not, what paper's your favorite?
Oh, I use a lot of different papers. I'd say my most used, because I do for work for a lot of notes, is the Kikuyo business paper by the Ream. So I really like that one. Or else I use my Hobonichi, so it's one more.
All right. What is your least favorite ink or ink color family?
Oranges, just because they tend to get crusty.
Yep.
Nothing
All right.
against the color, it's just the cleaning and the
Well, that's all 20 questions.
oh, it's quick.